I hope you're well. Welcome back to my channel, or to my channel if you are new. I just made a sippy. So today I thought I'd do a little chatty video about contraception and those sorts of things. I'm thinking about certain things that I want to do in terms of my channel and ways I want to move it, and I feel like I'd like to do like agony aunt style things. So anything you have any issues with, questions about, please ask me, because the likelihood is I've either been through it or I'll have somebody who'll have experience with it or something like that. So yeah, I thought this would be a good idea to do, and let's kick it off with contraception and my thoughts on it. So when I was a teenager and I first became sexually active, I was stupid and I didn't use anything at all. Stupidest thing ever. I don't think I was really informed about it enough. I didn't really have the conversation with my parents as such, and I was with a boy who basically used me and left. And I thought I'd got pregnant, and it was the scariest time of my life. I was 15 at the time. Horrible timing. My mum found out. I didn't tell her. She found out. I don't know how she knew. I guess mother's instinct. And was really good about the whole thing. We got a pregnancy test. I wasn't pregnant, thank God. And yeah, so after that she was like, we're taking you down to the sexual health clinic. I know it works differently in different countries, but here in England you can go to a clinic and get free contraception. Just about anything really. Now I can't speak for all types of contraception because I've not tried all types of contraception. I've only tried a few things. Now at 15 I knew I wasn't responsible enough to take the pill every day, and I wasn't planning on really being sexually active as such at the time, but I wanted something just in case, because I was interested in boys, and obviously I'd had this scare and my mum was basically telling me I had to try something. So I went with the implant. Now the implant lasts for 3 years. It's a little rod. It doesn't hurt to get it put in, and it essentially releases the same hormones as the particular pill that I take, the progesterone only one, because I suffer with migraines, so I couldn't take like the pill where you have the week off. And it lasts for 3 years, like I said, which is great because I thought I'd be 18 by that point, I'd be a bit more grown up, I don't have to worry about it for 3 years. Now, side effects I had from that, actually it worked quite well for me. Now, just as a bit of a backstory I guess as well, before I started taking the pill, when I was a bit younger, and I think it was probably because of my unhealthy eating habits and lifestyle, which is another video I want to make, but I used to have periods once every 6 weeks, and they'd be so intense and my PMS would be horrible and I hated it, and it would just put me in bed basically. So when I got the implant they were like, you might not have periods, and I was like, oh my god, this would be amazing. And actually I didn't. I'd have a period maybe once every 6 months, if that, and it was amazing, especially when I was younger, because I didn't have to worry about it, didn't have to worry about embarrassing things happening at school. It was just brilliant. It did make me break out more, and it did make me gain a bit of weight, but I was quite little, so it wasn't really a problem for me. My mood swings went. I was just a pleasant person to be around. So after the 3 years I thought to myself, I'm going to go on this again. So I did, and they make a tiny incision in your arm, and they take one out and they put one back in. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but nothing to sort of write home about. There I was another 3 years with the implants. That took me to 21. Now I had a few different relationships throughout that time, so it was great. Obviously you need to also make sure that you're not catching anything, and obviously condoms are the best method, but for me using the implant as, you know, prevention for having a baby was great. So I had a few relationships, and about, how old was I? So I was about 21 when I met my current boyfriend, or 20 actually when I met my current boyfriend, fiance, who I will get in some videos properly, because he always puts his head in and I want to get him in some videos, so I think it'll be fun. And at that point we obviously weren't serious, we just got together, but I was starting to get a bit more sort of conscious of the fact that the implant is a newer thing, that they don't know all the side effects of it necessarily. They haven't had it around long enough to know whether it can cause damage later on in life and those sorts of things. And it was when I was starting to get a bit more conscientious about like healthy eating and just being good to myself. and it scared me, so I decided not to go ahead again with the implant. I decided to go with the pill, which I know sounds ridiculous because actually it's the same hormone, so therefore the pill would be the same, but I had control over it, and we didn't want a baby. Condoms just, we're both clean, we've been checked and stuff, so condoms just didn't really work for us at the time. They just, for me, an effort, and they kill the vibe, so we just didn't bother using them. And I thought, look, I'll just take the pill. The pill I take is the one where you don't get a break, like I say. You can still have periods or not. Again, good side effect for me was that I didn't have periods, and I say didn't because I'll explain what I'm doing now. And everything was just fandabidorsy. I didn't have any like PMS or anything really at all. I'd get a bit, like my boobs would get a bit sore, but that's about it. And then, so let's bring it up to, so that was when I was 21. I took it every day. I had a little alarm on my phone. Occasionally I missed it, but if I missed it, I'd make sure we didn't have sex around that time. And I was just really good with it because I didn't want a kid, and I knew we weren't stable enough to, and we didn't know each other enough at this point. So now let's go to a sort of now-ish, maybe the last few months. I stopped taking the pill. And the reason I stopped taking the pill is because I just didn't want to put something in my body every day to change what should happen naturally, because personally it freaked me out because I didn't have periods, like I say, and I just wanted to make sure that my body was doing what it should be, I guess. And you might feel differently, but that's just the route that I wanted to take. And I had the conversation with my fiance, so it's not like a surprise. And so since then, I also, previous I suppose to getting any sort of pills or implants, did kind of use the pull out method. Terrible thing to do, you should never do that. But since then we've had conversations about what if something happened and we're in a different place in our life. Okay, we don't live on our own right at this moment, but in the next year that's going to happen. We're relatively stable financially, like we're in a better position. That's not to say that we're definitely going to have a baby anytime soon. We don't necessarily want that, but my partner is 29, I'm 25 in a few months, and I don't know, we just feel better about the situation, and I've explained my reasonings to him, he understands, so that makes me feel a lot better. The only problem is now my periods are quite regular. They're about every 4 weeks. I'm just getting onto my phone to go onto the Clue app. They're about every 4 weeks. They the one thing that concerns me, and I guess I'd need a bit of advice on this from you guys, two things actually. Firstly, I can tell you when I'm due to come on because my knees get really sore, my ankles get really sore, I get really bad water retention. Is that common? I get really tired, really grumpy, like just ridiculously. I'm horrible to be around. And actually, if you can see on my phone, which you probably can't because it's really bright, this is where I am currently, so I'm just hitting the PMS stage. And so I just get really like drained, depressed, and I'm not using that term lightly. Like, I understand what depression and sadness and the difference, and I want to do a whole mental health sort of video, but I get really depressed feeling. I get mean, just really nasty, tired, I just lackluster, and honestly I've missed my alarms for work and things. This is the only problem because the pill controlled this a bit and I have no control over it. But part of me thinks, well, it's what my body wants to do and should be doing, so therefore I should let it do its thing. I just want to know they're normal now. And this is no way a promotion or anything, but for those of you who are worried about maybe staying on contraception, and I don't recommend anyone comes off it, and I also recommend if you do use condoms, be safe. Do not get pregnant on the back of this video, please. But for those of you who maybe feel the same as I do and don't know how they feel about putting something in their body all the time that they don't necessarily trust, and it's not that I don't trust it, it's just I know people have had bad experiences and I just want to be natural, I guess. So this app is amazing. It's called Clue. What it does is you can track your periods, And it's good to know when you're due on, because, you know, if you've got something coming up, you can change your outfit. Like, you don't want to wear a white dress if you know it's going to be on day 1 of period. That would be horrible. You know, holidays and stuff, you can just not plan around it, because you should still live your life if you're on your period. But you can also pinpoint your emotions, I think, and that's quite important for me, because I'll get really emotional and hormonal, and if I didn't know it was because I was due on, I'd think there was something wrong with me. But if I know it's because I'm due on, then it's fine. So there's all those sorts of things. Also, the cool thing about this, let me just come back in again and change the ISO so you can actually see it. If you can see, this is where I am, and it's sort of, so it comes around this way, it does your whole cycle. So I'm PMSing, period will start in a few days. This blue bit here is your fertile window. For those of you that don't want to get pregnant and want to know when your fertile window is, this is perfect, because if we have sex after the fertile window, the likelihood is I'm not going to get pregnant. Perfect. And if we have sex before or like just after my period, because obviously sperm can last for 7 days, is it? And your egg can last for 48 hours, I want to say. I feel very uneducated right at this moment. But I'll make sure we'll use some sort of protection for the 7, like just after, like around the fertile window, because I don't want to risk it. My fertile window has stayed the same for ages, and actually I uninstalled this app for a little while, and I reinstalled it because I like it. I like that it tells me how many days my cycle is, and I just really, really enjoy it. I think it's a great app. I'm not trying to promote this as such, I just wanted to explain my sort of contraception history, my thoughts on it. My thoughts are, do you, boo. Now I would get, is it the IUD, if I could, because I feel like it's quite a natural way to do it, but I think you have to wait until you've had kids. So once I've had my kids, I will definitely get something like that in, because it lasts a long time and it goes up in there, you don't have to worry about it, and it's a natural kind of way, I guess, of stopping things. I'm going to do another period related video soon. I'm hoping that the thing I want to do is a menstrual cup that I want to try. I'm hoping it comes before this period, because then I could try it out this month. If not, it'll have to be next period. But that's everything for this video. Let me know what type of contraception you use, how you go about it, and kind of like your age as well, because I'm intrigued. And if you have any questions, please leave them below, or any video suggestions. Let me know. I'm happy to do anything within reason. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already, and leave me a comment and all that lovely stuff. And I'll speak to you all soon. Bye!